To the Floor Show. Joining me now live, star trader Jon Najarian of Market Rebellion. Okay, Jon, so some profit taking today. Is that what you see here?
It's profit taking, Liz, but it's also because of the story you just ran on Meta. I mean, if Meta's going to be providing excess compute to anybody who needs it, anybody who can pay them the price, that means less purchased by people, for instance, CoreWeave or NBIS, any of those, KLAC for that matter, and to a certain extent, Micron. Does it mean they're done? No. But does it mean that because of the big spend that you report every day, Liz, that Meta and the hyperscalers are spending, $750 billion over the next couple of years on exactly what they need to be hyperscalers? Well, if they have extra right now, why not sell some of that off? And that would slow the growth of some of those stocks that I just mentioned. So do I think it's a profit-taking event? A little bit of that, but I think it's mainly based on what Meta's doing right now, which is probably only a very short-term event, perhaps just like a profit-taking event has been in these stocks going forward.
When you look at the broader market, the S&P leaders from the first half, let me give them to our viewers: SanDisk, Micron, and Intel. Huge bumps for these names. And if you look at SanDisk, 755% jump. If you bought it on January 2nd, you are in the money. Micron up 268%, Intel up 248%. So as you look at that, flip it over. Are they going to continue to gain those top three spots at the end of the second half? Or what names are you looking at that could very well make a run for it?
Well, I think the data center story is not over. And all of those names that you mentioned are part of the data center story. So when you are talking about Anthropic, OpenAI, any of the AIs out there, including Elon Musk's Grok and Super Grok, you're looking at very aggressive compute eaters, people that are rather consumers of both power and consumers of a lot of those things like chips. The security for these data centers, Liz, is going to be massive. And I think that's where you'd want to have some, if not, I'm never going to say all of your money, but a significant portion should be allocated to those that are doing quantum protection. You and I were together just 2 weeks ago talking about this, where companies that can offer protection from the hacking that would go on, whether it's a wallet or whether it's a data center or whether it's the military or the new Trump accounts, anything that people would want to hack into to either steal or to get data, like the Chinese always try to get into our data centers and take things. They might not be able to break it yet, but once they get it and store it, then they want to be able to keep working on it until they can finally break it. And yeah, I think that's where you want to be. The security companies, I think, are the next really big leaders.
So some quantum names is what you're basically focused on here. So let me just ask you, because you brought up XAI, and you brought up Grok. Elon Musk, of course, that is now part of SpaceX, and SpaceX is down pretty significantly today, 7.5%. It's been struggling since a couple of days after the IPO, and you do have it down, I want to say month to date. Well, the month is brand new.
Very short.
Duh, Liz. Yeah, but since it IPO'd, it's down 21%. So I guess the question becomes, and by the way, Wedbush just initiated coverage at an outperform. That's not helping it at all. So Wedbush's voice and Dan Ives' voice, which in the past has been enough to give some stocks a pop, is not working here. They got a $190 price target. SpaceX is at $157. Please keep in mind, the IPO price was way lower. And so what about SpaceX? There was some breaking news today that Wall Street Journal says that Elon's put forth through SpaceX a phone, some type of prototype of a SpaceX AI phone that some people have seen at this point. Does that really give it some juice?
It may. I mean, I think it's got plenty of juice on its own. And the public obviously is probably close to 80% bought into this. By that, Liz, I mean that when I look at how many calls are purchased versus how many puts, a put, of course, is for protection or a downside bet. The call is just the opposite. Calls are out trading puts massively in SpaceX, even on down days like this. So, for instance, they've bought all the way up to the 300 strike. In fact, that is the largest open interest, meaning that's where the speculation is the biggest in SpaceX at 300. Do I think it's going to get there in the near term? No. But it's a sign that the public is clearly betting that the stock has a lot more legs and that down moves like today, and we've seen a few of them, as you've said, are likely to be met with more buying. And a little bit of good news. I mean, if all of a sudden Elon flashed that phone, I think that would be enough to take away all of today's selling, that 7% that you spoke of. I think it could take it away like that. People are very bullish on what this company does.
Elon's denying that Wall Street Journal report, but nonetheless, it would make sense, especially considering Starlink is part of SpaceX, and that, of course, is all about connectivity, and it would make sense if he has a wireless component there that captures it on a phone of some sort. John, great to see you. And by the way, while you were talking, the S&P turned positive just by about 3 points, but green nonetheless. Thank you so much.